Congratulations, my lady. Sentence has been wasted, reduced to dust and rubble. All but this castle remains. Shall we tear it down for you?
Oh, no. I think I'll keep it. Oh, who am I kidding? Bash it in a fair bit, but just make sure it's livable. I'll be making this my residence in a couple of days. This retrograde custom engraving in the throne, though, must go. Replace it with beautiful marble, and add a couple of streams in here while you're at it.
You want us to mess up the place before you move into it?
Yes. It would fill me with incredible joy to know that I'm living in the ruinous husk of Patovia's shining citadel. I know it would have broken Lord Valen's heart. And the dinginess I don't mind. It reminds me of Renfall when I see it.
If those are your orders, I'm more than happy to oblige, my lady. We'll make these special renovations for you in no time at all.
Handsome and obedience. A man after my heart, no doubt.
Well, surely, my lady, I have thought you to be quite lovely for a long while now. Would you maybe wish to, I don't know, spend the night?
No. A tempting offer, dear. But I already have a date tonight. He's waiting for me in bed on the top floor, and I know he would hate to have me waiting for him. He's brooding and cold. Just the way I like them.
Right. Well, I'll be off then. Hope you enjoy your stay in Sens, my lady.
A castle and a kingdom, all to herself. Truly, all a girl could ever want. No, we're just getting started.
My name is Keen Decker, and I'm here to invite you to an evening not like most others. An evening where 4 streamers are pitted up against one another in hopes for fame and fortune. Will one streamer rise to the top and unlock fortunes like no other? Or will they all fall victim to the horrors of Marth's Dungeon?
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. What it be? What it do? Welcome back, Dungeoneers. We are once again here and ready to give you some prime entertainment. Marth's Dungeon. I think this is episode 13. And we kind of last left off with the party leaving Soliot Castle, all in pursuit to go to Hellspring Village and investigate to see what it was that the Radiant Knight had left Marth. And we are going to pick up, actually, right in the castle with Monsieur Thames. Yeah, so Marth and gang have just closed the door and left, and all is kind of just silent in the castle. You don't hear like a squeak from Max. The most sound that you hear in the castle itself is the running of the waterfalls, as well as like Penelope running her foot back and forth against like the marble because it makes a funny squeaking sound.
Well, it's time to get to work then, I suppose.
Thames is planning for some renovations for this this fun little episode.
Yes, sir. That's before he dies.
Yeah. Right before he dies.
Yep.
But he gets the renovations off. That's the important part.
True. Maybe. Who knows?
Fourth wall shatter. But like, let's see. So Penelope actually just kind of like after a couple of seconds of just running her foot against the marble, starts like walking up like 5 feet, doing it again, and like looking to see if you respond.
He'll walk up to Penelope then and just say, is there something that you needed?
Nope.
And then she like turns around, walks this way.
Is his cap detector going off?
No, she seems to be pretty genuine. She just seems to be kind of bored.
Penelope, would you like to carry a hammer?
and on the hammer, she turns around with like the biggest like shock of just grin on her face, and she goes, "What?"
Oh no, not my hammer. A hammer though. Follow.
Perfect.
We'll go to the forge and pick up one of the like small like detail hammers he has and just hand it to her.
Let's see. Let me give it to her here. I'm gonna put a hammer right in her hand. Here's a smaller one for Penelope. I'll tag that right to her. And you kind of you give her the hammer, and she starts like kind of swinging it around. She's like, "Whoa!"
Now remember, that hammer is right-handed. You can only use it with your right hand. It is not a left-handed hammer.
She kind of looks up to you and like puts both of her hands out and raises like an eyebrow and says, right is this one? And she points to like the left hand.
Tim's will like put his hands out in like this motion. I'll do it on cam.
Yeah.
And say, the one that looks like an L is the left. The one that looks like a backwards L is the right.
And she like looks at both of the hands when she puts them up, and she goes, "Oh, okay." And then grabs it in her right hand.
So, I'm entrusting you with that hammer. You must not lose it at any cost. Are you aware of this?
Yeah. They told me those types of things at the encampment too. Yeah.
This is not an order, Penelope. This is simply what you do whenever you are trying to be nice to people. You don't lose their things.
Oh, okay.
Now let us go get to work. No?
Yeah.
And she kind of like follows right behind you and like keeps her hammer like in her right hand at the ready.
Yep. Tim's looking mildly satisfied that he got somebody, albeit a child, with the whole right-handed left hammer thing.
You head out of the forge, and what do you want to start with first? I'm gonna open up the map here. Open map.
Tim's will start with putting down the new bridges and glass walkways.
Perfect. Sounds good. Go up here a little bit. Oh!
Ooh.
They changed places. Everybody's locked into place. Hold on. So yeah, you kind of start off by working on the bridges and making them more sturdy. Or sorry, actually, you would start off with the glass because the glass is kind of the protective layer, so you can kind of work on the bridges properly and strip them off, build new bridges. So yes, you make a nice, just large strip of clear glass. It's pretty thick, and you know, most anything that isn't an elephant can walk right over it. And it looks really, really good, very, very safe. And you kind of set up the bridges as well in between. So there's
The bridges are just there just in case we have to move things. Uh, pushing several tons of material over glass might not be the best idea. And then he'll just like walk over it and just wait for Penelope to do the same.
Walk over the bridge.
The glass.
Got the glass. You kind of just step very like not very carefully whatsoever, just right over the glass. You know that you can walk over it perfectly fine. And then you look back to Penelope, and she gives one of those like bewildered looks, because it really does look like you're standing right on top of water. And she grabs like the hammer and goes to like dip it down to the glass to see if it dips, and it just bonks ever so slightly off of it. And it like she jumps back just ever so slightly.
Tim's thinks to himself that thank Forfodin that he gave her a smaller hammer.
Yeah. And seeing as you're standing on it, she's going to walk over it as well.
So, Penelope, with your very important job of the Hammer Keeper, I will need you to help me install these gates. Now, your job, which I reiterate, is very important. When I say you need to hand me the hammer, you hand me the hammer. You are doing most of the work here. I will
Whoa.
not lie.
You trust me with all the work?
With all the work, yes.
And you said the gates?
Yep.
Perfect. You head off and around over to the gates here. And this is actually a relatively simple plug for you, and doesn't take too much time. And every time you ask for Penelope to hand you the hammer, she does it like very carefully with like two hands, placing it in your hand.
And whenever he's done, it'll say, by Forfodin, Penelope, you've done it.
By Forfim, thank you.
Tim's will just grunt.
And you install both of these metal gates, and it is not only offering a ton of protection, but should you need to just stop the water from flowing in entirely, it does the job very well for you.
Epic, epic. Tim's will just like close it, then open it, then close it, then open it, and then let Penelope close it, then open it.
Yeah, Penelope like puts her everything into like kind of opening it and closing it. But she does it a couple of times and like smiles and looks at you. She's like,
Whoa.
It's like magic. Tim's will then say, now, there's one very important detail that I think we need to add to this room, Penelope. Would you like to watch me forge something?
What's forge?
This hammer. You see, you put metal, and I'll point to like one of the ingots I have on me. And say, this kind of metal, you put it into a very hot fire, and it melts down into a liquid, like the water we're on, but very, very hot. And you can move it, you can meld it into what you want it to be.
and she looks up at you and says,
Oh, like this.
and then she pulls out like the wooden frisbee and like hands it up to you.
Like that, yes, but with metal.
Oh. And she says, yeah, I want to.
Very well then, let's get to it, shall we?
You turn and head over to the forge. And, for Foden, forgive me for what I'm about to order! We have the new and improved forge. Thames magically finished it off. He was in 2 places at once.
I think I'll say for now that it's just the old forge, because he doesn't need something huge. Or similar, I guess, if it's up to you. But Thames will start putting in a bunch of the iron ingots he got, and then just start trying to sculpt a version of his head.
And as you do this, Thames, you are exceptionally fast with your hands. To the point that, like, Penelope's jaw, like, is just on the floor. Like, she is so surprised. She has never seen somebody just, like, as big as you and seemingly as, like, non-dexterous as you just pump things out and, like, fiddle with them, like, as quickly as you do. And she finds it, like, remarkable and, like, tries to, like, mimic the motions, but she's not even, like, close to being as quick.
Do you like the process, Penelope?
Uh-huh. Yeah.
If you keep up with your job as the hammer keeper, and you do an exceptional job, then maybe one day I shall teach you.
And she just, like, smiles and, like, nods her head and holds the hammer with both her hands and, like, gets behind you, like, very much like a bridesmaid would, holding up, like, a train for a gown, and just, like, follows you directly behind with the hammer in her hands.
Does she take the title with great pride?
Yes, absolutely.
And once it's kind of done and cold, Thames will kind of just present it and say, how does it look?
And she looks at it, and she's like,
Okay, but can I try?
As long as you let me deal with molten metal, sure, I'll let you try.
perfect. And you assist with, like, kind of as much as you realistically need to, and make sure that she's safe while she's doing everything. And she crafts a very non-Thames look-alike statue.
I imagine Penelope essentially just has creative directions, whereas Thames is like actually making it.
Yeah, Thames is just like, yep, this is what it should look like.
And it's progressively getting horrified, but it doesn't admit it.
And Penelope makes, like, a sculpture of your face that looks like one of the eyes is slightly bigger than the other one, and you have, like, a snout coming out.
That is very, very fine craftsmanship, Penelope.
And she looks very, very proud of herself, and tries to, like, pick it up, but it's, like, way too heavy for her. And then just kind of, like, sets it on the ground, picks the hammer back up, and puts it right between her hands.
Penelope, I know the perfect place we can put that, but for now, it's not built, so I will leave it in here, but do not worry, it will find its place here soon.
Okay.
For now, I need to go find a ladder. I'll go get a ladder and try to put the head up on the wall behind the throne.
Behind the throne, perfect. You... did you want Penelope to stay here while you do that? I know it doesn't matter too much.
Penelope can follow as long as she, like, Thames will have her stay, like, 10 feet back, just in case the ladder falls.
Perfect. You head out, grab a spare ladder, and bring it right over and behind the throne. Go the safe way.
He doesn't need to walk through. Oh, I guess he kind of does if he has a giant metal head, but...
You head right over to the back of the throne and place the statue up. Penelope, like, very trying to, like, carefully holds onto the ladder. Like, not really supporting you whatsoever, but she's trying.
Thank you, Penelope, but do know that the hammer can get hurt if you are too close. So you should stand 15 feet away.
Oh.
And then if she doesn't recognize feet, then he'll point to like the tile that's about like one diagonally to the northeast and then one east.
Feet. Okay, feet.
And like you point to like the tiles, and she's like, like looks around, and then like looks at your foot, and she's like,
Okay.
and your foot is very, very large.
So does she take like big steps away?
Yeah, she takes like big steps like away.
And then he'll like bolt it in and just start chuckling to himself. I cannot foresee anything going wrong with this, but I think it makes the room look nicer. And then he's just like picturing what Marth is gonna say in his head and just starts laughing again.
It's so fucked. I love it.
Then he'll get down off the ladder and then move it.
Perfect. You put the ladder away, and kind of Penelope is like following you around, and she's like, "Whoa, what's next?"
Penelope, would you like a room?
I have a room.
Would you like your own room?
Yeah. That would be really fun.
Let's work on that, no?
Yeah. And she's just like, she nods her head very, very happily, and you can clearly tell that she has no idea what you're talking about.
As long as she agrees, he'll continue, and then just like walk straight over to the wall where he pictures it going and just start like breaking it.
Yeah, you start just kind of mauling the wall over and over and over. And as you do, roll for me a con saving throw really quickly.
Oh no, the dust. He's not wearing a mask. That is, with my negative, a 3.
Perfect. So as you hit the wall, several dust bunnies
Oh no.
several
Those are
dust bunnies
terrifying.
pop out of the wall, and your lungs kind of get filled up with dust, and you fall to the ground and start coughing and like choking very aggressively and wheezing. And kind of as you fall to the ground, Penelope like looks at you and she's like, Thames, get up! There's things around us!
There's things. Can Tim's tell if they're like sentient?
You can tell that they're just poofs of dust, basically.
Penelope,
Yeah.
you need to you need to vanquish these creatures. Use the hammer.
And Penelope like looks down at the hammer between her two hands and goes, "Oh, okay." And they're gonna roll for initiation. Penelope rolls a 16. Bunny 1 rolls a 4. Bunny 2 rolls a 5. And Bunny 3 rolls a 7. Alright, so Penelope is going to run up to this this dust bunny and attempt to swing the hammer at it with both hands. She rolls a 14, which hits, and she brings the. Actually, let me roll for damage. This is just a small hammer. So let's do this. Okay, so 4 damage. And these things actually have 1 HP regardless. So she goes to swing the hammer at it and hits it kind of like square dead on as to what she sees as like a head. And it just poofs and disappears. And she goes, whoa, 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 whoa. And it is bunny number 2's turn here. Oh, sorry, it's bunny number 3's turn. Bunny number 3 is going to kind of just ever so slightly sway over to you, Thames, and start to just like swirl around your head and attempt to suffocate you a little bit. And roll for me another con saving throw.
Oh, dear lord. -9.
And this one, like, really, because you're not looking at it, catches you off guard and, like, gets right in your nostrils, and you just start going... And Penelope swears on God that she hears an evil little... from the dust bunny.
And tells the sheriff, Penelope, you have vanquished one, but your job is not done.
Perfect. And this dust bunny is going to just ever so slightly just glaze past you and head right over to Penelope and just start swarming around her. And it doesn't. Let's see. I'm gonna have her roll a con saving throw really quickly. Her con is actually pretty good. She rolls a 15, and it starts like swarming around her, and she like covers her nose and mouth really quickly, and then like gets this like really evil like glare in her eyes. She's like, "You're going down next." And she is going to swing at the dust bunny directly in front of her. And she hits it. Roll for damage here. Anything is going to be more than enough. Yeah. She rolls max damage. Hits the dust bunny kind of square in like the skull. And sends it whoosh, flying right into the water. And it gets kind of tapered down into the glass. And just dissipates. And this dust bunny is going to leave you, Thames, and start to head over towards Penelope and start just wandering off. And she goes, "Not so fast!" and takes her turn, runs up to it, takes another swing, which is more than enough, and she, let me roll for damage one last time. She catches it by the tail, and it starts seemingly trying to squirm away and screaming. She says, "You won't get away from me." And she swings, she brings the hammer up and swings it at the head of the dust bunny. It goes through it, smacks the chest, and puts a little dent in it. And the dust bunny dissipates. And that is the end of combat.
Attempts to say, Penelope, you have shown yourself to be a great warrior today.
And she puffs her chest up and like looks at you and gives like a like a little war cry, but you can see tears in her eyes, and she runs over to you and she's like, "Are you okay?"
Yes, I am okay. And while he's kind of like in that doubled over posture he was, I kind of pictured it, Matt. Penelope he'll just like say to Penelope, Penelope, you have earned a title no one has held before. The title of Permanent Hammer Keeper.
Whoa.
This is mine?
That is yours.
Cool.
However, there is a very, very bad curse. It has been cursed to be bound to be close to me. You see, if I cannot see you with the hammer, whoever holds it gets terrible luck. Oh. So, if you don't want to receive the terrible luck and misfortune that the curse will bestow upon you and give you, then you must give the hammer back to me before you leave my sight.
Okay.
But I thank you, hero.
Can I choose who the bad luck goes? Can I choose the bad luck who goes to?
It is whoever holds the hammer.
Oh.
And she like looks around for Max. She goes,
Okay.
No, she's vicious. And he'll start like using his like essentially sledgehammer on the wall again.
perfect. You start, breaking open the walls. And, you break open a clear amount of space, just enough for a cool-ass door to fit in it.
And then Tim will start like laying down the foundation, which is also just the floor.
Perfect. I am going to slowly but surely start unveiling the room, and I will have you describe your process.
So Tim's will like begin to move in like stone, massive slabs of stone, and just cut it to be aligned with the floor. Then fit it into the pathways to fit the corners and fit the walls, and then slowly, piece by piece, kind of fit it in. To get the rug, he will use a mixture of the materials he had, and also something from Soliet's closet, which for some reason she had. And with that like rug that was just stored in there, he'll place it down and probably find some like adhesive or like bolt to hold it down in the corners.
Yep.
And then with the bed, he'll in his smithy area, he'll use his carpentry abilities to put together a frame, and then use the feathers and burlap he purchased from the farmer to put together a mattress of sorts, then more burlap to make a blanket. And do the same process for the pillows. And I would say over the course of a couple hours or a few hours, he just kind of puts it all in there, makes a chest, kind of brings the chest over, makes another chest, puts some of the toys that Penelope has just gotten in the past and whatnot in there. The side, maybe make a wheelbarrow. And then, last thing, he'll start working on the slide.
Perfect. You make a pretty big slide with a little rug that says "You're welcome" on it. And while you're doing all of this, Penelope has kind of taken the wheelbarrow and is just like wheeling it around the rest of the house because she thinks it's the coolest thing that's ever existed. She kind of like looks through like the toys and stuff and becomes like slightly disinterested, and then grabs the wheelbarrow and just goes, "Wow!" Starts zooming.
Wheelbarrow moment. He'll spend a weird amount of time making the lantern. Just like, why does lighting work like this?
Yeah, why does it work like this? My god, this world is so strange the way it works with the lights.
And just like, I put these filters on the light, and the light goes through, but it doesn't look like I want it to. And then it's all dark, and then there's only light. and then he'll put the lantern once it's finished on the top.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, arguably, I mean, like, everything else, like, you kind of just, like, bang out, and then there's, like, the, and then there's the lantern, and you're just like, ah, man, why is this in particular taking so long? And that probably takes the longest of the entire room setup. But you do, after a little while, complete the room, and Penelope, like, walks back in once you're done with everything, and peeks through the door and sees her room set up and is, like, in love with it. She goes, whoa.
Now this, Penelope, is your room.
This is mine?
This is yours.
What's this?
And she, like, looks at the slide.
And he'll point to the ladder and say, you climb up the ladder, and then you slide down.
Okay.
And then she goes to climb up the ladder with the hammer in her hands. Kind of, like, gets to the top with the hammer and goes to slide down, but the edges of the hammer are too long for her to, like, actually go down the hole in the slide. She just kind of sits there.
Thames will walk up and say, mighty hammer keeper, would you be so humble as to bestow upon me your hammer for a brief moment?
And she hands it down to you.
And then she starts sliding after she does.
Yeah, she goes down the slide. And, like, she gets to the bottom, and her eyes are just like, whoa. And she wants...
has been opened.
Yeah, she instantly wants to go back up it. And then she, like, gets to over where the ladder is. And she starts, like, closing her eyes a little bit. And you can tell that she's just getting tired as she's going, like, up and down and going down the slide, running back over. And, like, by the time she maybe does this, like, 4 times, her eyes are closed. And she slides to the bottom of the slide. And she's kind of just, like, asleep.
Tim's will pick her up and place her in the bed.
Aw. Place her right in the bed.
And put the blanket over.
Blanket layers. I got this.
Not under the bed.
Oh! It's all tethered together. I'm sorry. It'll be just like in an anime. Fuck! I can't undo it. Why won't he go back? There we go.
Tim's actually picks up the bed and slams it on top of Penelope.
Yeah, she'd seem like she'd sleep through it. And, yeah, you kind of tuck Penelope in, and regardless of how very non-stealthy you are, you just kind of, like, walk out of the room, and it doesn't wake her whatsoever.
He'll move the wheelbarrow back to be where he initially put it as well.
Perfect. And, now you are kind of free to do your work as quickly as you kind of need to. So you are able to just, like, run around, grab materials, build things without having to kind of explain why or what you're doing.
I'll start with Look Down's room because his idea of what Looks Down room looks like is not hard. So
Explain to me. You're kind of doing the similar process with the room here, but what in particular do you think Look Down would like in his room?
Tim's immediately grabs the candles that Soliet had in her room and just puts them in Look Down's room. So, would he notice anybody in his trip up to Soliet's room or Soliet's old room?
Yeah, so you head back up into Soliet's room. Let me bring you up a layer here. You head up through into Soliet's room. And give me just an observation check really quickly.
An 18.
Yep, you definitely hear just some, like, sloshing, very subtle sloshing, in the bathtub to the left of the room.
Is that you, Maxwell?
And there's no response.
I'll go look.
Let's see. You go over to look in the bathtub, and you just see the back of Max's head just kind of like looking forward.
No, you are right.
Hey, what are you snuck up on me? Hi.
I don't sneak up on anything, to be quite honest.
Yeah, you might be right. What's up?
I came here to grab the candles Solit had in the room. I hope you were not using them.
I mean, it sometimes makes the... Yeah, you know what? I don't want to explain it. It's over on the desk.
Have you been in there the entire time?
No, I've been, yeah.
Well, if you needed a break, well, I hope you've had one by now, because soon I will need you to dump the tub. I'm planning on making at least some semblance of a bathroom in this place.
But, yeah, it's fine. I don't care. And he kind of gets up and he grabs the curtain and, like, walks out. And he is buck-ass naked, but just with his jacket on. And, like...
I said at some point, Maxwell, not right now.
Yeah, sorry. I don't... And then he, like, kind of goes around the corner and, like, grabs his pants and, like, pulls them up and sits in front of the fire.
What is the issue, Max? We saved Bilms. Perhaps their fate is to be determined by Mechalites' future plans for them, but by all means, we left as heroes. Why are you acting as if we left Bilms with dishonor?
No. Bilms is fine.
If there was one person I expected to get an extraordinary ego boost from the liberation of Bilms, it was you, Maxwell. And now your ego for some reason is shattered, which I thought not even Forfoden could do.
And Max kind of, like, slowly but surely stands up and, like, turns around. And he looks incredibly uncomfortable. His eyes are just kind of, like, darting back and forth, trying to think of what to say. Before he, like, looks up to you and says, have you ever, you've lived for a long time, right?
Yes. Compared to other races, I suppose.
Have you ever lied to someone and it didn't feel good?
Yes.
Yeah, me too. But, I used to lie a lot. It was kind of my professional job. I would lie for Soliet. She would take me into a dreamscape with multiple people. Children, women, old people. It didn't really matter. I seen so many people die, and I lied to them, and told them that everything was okay, and I made this elaborate ruse that what the life that they were living was the one that was real to them inside their own dreamscape. And I just, back then, I didn't think about it. I didn't feel guilty. I was just scared shitless for my life. But I saw, Vesuvius. Oh shit. Okay. Please, this has to stay between you and me.
I don't enjoy telling Marth things anyways.
Okay. Yeah, I figured. So, I went to go visit Vesuvius, and, he... offed himself, Thames. Left a whole note and everything. The guy was seemingly crazy. He was turning people into stone. He turned those poor fucking birds into stone.
I'm gonna roll to see if Tim says something cold as hell or
Yeah.
reassuring. I'll say odds cold, evens reassuring. Uh-oh. Does it necessarily matter if he did kill himself? From the sounds of it, he was already malnourished and on his way to death's door anyways.
Oh. No. Yeah. You're right.
And he walks over and he sits in front of the fire again.
Max, if you truly believe that this lie is eating at you, at least you shared that to someone. And then he'll take the candles and walk away.
Perfect. You go up to the table to reach for the candles, and just give me a general observation check.
That is a 16.
You start shifting through the doors the cabinet doors to find various candles, and you grab quite a few of them. They're all kind of spread out. There's a couple that were definitely melted on the table from Max trying to keep the room smelling nice for when Marth came back from the foul-ass sludge water that's inside the room. And the only thing that really kind of catches your attention is just a large book, leather-bound book.
Looks interesting. Thames will look inside.
Perfect. So you look inside, and it seems that it is Soliet's diary.
Thames takes it.
Perfect.
Immediately the thoughts run through his head. No one, especially Pivot, needs to find this.
Do you just pick it up for now and put it away?
Yeah, he'll put it like in like the many pockets he has.
Perfect. And yeah, so you got the candles, and you kind of you're heading back downstairs, I'm assuming, or is there anything else you want to do in the room?
He'll look around the room and say, look towards Max again and say, once you're done in front of the fireplace sulking, I will need you to empty the tub.
Yeah.
Just dump it out of the broken window.
I might need a hand, it's kind of heavy.
Okay, if you need a hand, then let's do it now.
Yeah, okay.
And Max stands up, and you help him kind of move the curtain out of the way, and grab the gamer bathwater here, and bring it over to the window to dump it out. And as you dump it out and bring it back, Thames, give me another observation check.
A 12.
A 12. You see a small compartment at the bottom of the tub.
What's this?
Oh shit, I don't know, I never saw that before.
Thames will try to open the compartment.
You go to like reach for it, and Max is like, whoa, let me maybe do that. Like that's where my all right, anyway. He like goes and reaches into the tub, pulls back the compartment, and inside the compartment you see a metallic object that is kind of too big for like the actual opening for the compartment hole. It seems like relatively long, probably about because the whole opening is probably in and around the area of like maybe like 4 by 4 inches, and it's a little bit bigger than that, or a little bit longer than that.
Would Tim's be able to like grab the metallic object?
Sure. You go to reach for the metallic object, and you kind of push it off to the side and bring it up. And it is... Let me send this over to you. A serpent's rod.
Ooh.
You kind of get the feeling that it was inside the tub for some strange, nefarious purposes. But you do know this to be a pretty useful piece of equipment. And there you are.
Oh. Yeah, I think Tim's knows why. I can guess why that was there.
And Max like is kind of like blushing, and he's like, "Holy, what a wow, what a!" And he like does the thing where he like bites his knuckle. What a weird thing to do. I have no respect for women that do stuff like that, you know.
Okay.
I feel a bit better. Thanks for that.
No problem, Max.
And he like looks over to you while you both kind of still have your hands on the tub, and he says, "Do you want me to help you with that?"
Can you clean it out?
Ugh.
It's your filth.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it doesn't smell too bad. He goes over to the drawers, grabs a cloth, and starts kind of swabbing the inside of it.
Tim just has to hold back gagging.
Yeah, there's just like foul fumes kind of slowly permeating into the air.
Tim's immediately leaves.
You head back downstairs, Tims. Why ever would you leave?
And Tim's will put the candles that he grabbed from Solius and just put them next to the dresser, but not too close as to be a fire hazard.
Perfect.
He'll go down to the cafeteria to get one of the chairs that was in there, which he doesn't know why it was there, but like no one sat in it.
You go into, the cafeteria to grab one of the chairs, you said?
Yeah, it would be the chair that goes into look down's room.
Perfect. Go into the cafeteria, grab one of the chairs here. You just nix this here. Yeet. And as you're bringing the chair up, you kind of remember, like Look Down had some kind of like candles in his area as well.
He'll go get those then too.
Perfect. You head over into the dungeon. I won't reveal it for now, as there's plenty of work to be done there. And as you go into the dungeon, you turn the corner into Look Down's room. You pick up the candles, and you notice that his bed is no longer there.
Thames will just think to himself, where did that go? I was going to put that in his room as well.
And you head back up here.
I'll put the chair in the room. Does the chair say anything on it?
This chair does not say anything on it, no.
Okay. Understandable. And Thames will continue looking for Look Down's bed.
Perfect. You kind of head out and look through, like, the main throne. There's nothing there. You go into your room, don't really know why it would be there, but, like, you always check the places that something would never be because, yeah, you just kind of never know, especially with look down. There's nothing in your smithy area. And you head downstairs to look again over by the dungeon area, because perhaps you kind of missed something. And as you do, give me just like an observation as you reach the bottom of the stairs here.
A 10.
10. You don't really notice anything. You head back into the dungeon. It doesn't seem like it's there.
Well, maybe he'll find it after he renovates other things. While he's traveling through here, his mind instantly gets reminded of a fog that gets spilled out there.
Sure.
And I'm going to roll something. I'm going to say, evens, Tim's will check out the fog. Odds, Tim's will nope the hell out. I rolled a 2.
You get like this weird just feeling in the back of your head that you're just like, man, I don't know why nobody's kind of just went to investigate this area, even though, like, you know, we've liberated this castle for however many days now and nobody's actually wanted to look at it. And you kind of head over to the fog, and as you do, give me another observation check.
A 14.
You see Lookdown's cot over in Alice's corner.
Tim's will put the bed by the brazier so that way he doesn't forget it.
Perfect. You drag it over. Ooh. You drag it over. And you kind of reach the fog and look down it. You look down the corridor. You look down. You look down. It's normal. And as you kind of peer down the corridor, it just seems like large plumes of fog just kind of slowly rippling out towards your feet. Not expanding, not retracting very much, just kind of looming in the same area.
Does Tim see like an end to like the corridor?
You see, yeah, you do see the end of the corridor. It's 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, like around 30 feet away from you. And there's a giant reinforced door at the end of it.
Tim's just gonna go see what the hell is causing this fog.
Okay. Are you going through the fog?
Yeah, he'll go through the fog, just thinking like he'll never be able to actually make this place feel like a home if solely it's bullshit it's still spreading around like this.
Perfect. You kind of step into the fog ever so slightly. And at first you don't feel anything, but as you take a second step, give me a con saving throw.
By 4 foot den, it's a 10.
You just feel inside just a really, really painful feeling in your gut, and you take 1 magic damage and 1 chaos damage.
Okay, Tim's is gonna push through.
Perfect. You kind of head through, and as you reach the end, take 1 more, or yeah, 2 more damage overall.
Okay.
And you kind of reach the giant reinforced door here.
Mm-hmm. Tim's will try to open it.
You go to open the door, and it doesn't seem to budge at all. I mean, you give me a strength check.
Okay. Is that with advantage or no?
No.
A 10.
You go to kind of like push on this door, and you don't get like to really, really heave like super hard into it, but you feel like you get a pretty good push into it, and it doesn't budge whatsoever.
Is there a keyhole?
There is no keyhole on it. Nope.
Okay.
Just a solid metal slate that seems a bit different to you.
Then if Thames can't move it, then he will just try to like move it back to the fog. And just think to himself, I should cover this later with a wall.
You head back out, and as you head back out, just go ahead and take 4 damage altogether because you spent some time kind of shoving the wall.
Okay.
And you exit the fog.
He'll kind of look a little, not necessarily exhausted, but just tired after that because 8 damage is still 8 damage, and
yeah,
caught back.
Not for nothing, it was definitely like searing pain on like the inside. Let me toggle these bad boys together, and you bring the cot back with you up to Lookdown's room.
Now, it doesn't smell bad, right?
No, it doesn't smell too bad. He's kind of reached the amount of stench of not showering or bathing for an extended period of time where it doesn't kind of matter anymore, and he's like so caked on with like mud that it kind of encases the scent on him.
Okay, then he'll still run it through some water.
Yeah. You bring it
He'll
over
use
to...
like the slightly on like the one bit that doesn't get covered with glass and just keep it under there for a bit.
You get it nice and kind of soaking wet, and you can see just like bits of like stained dirt just kind of clump off of the mattress itself, and that's where the stench actually kind of just lies. And you keep it under kind of longer than that just to get it out.
And Thames will let it dry there by the glass for a little bit.
Perfect.
And then he'll decide to begin working on Maxwell's room.
Oh my. So give me the thought process for Maxwell's room here.
Gaudy and like extra and flamboyant.
Oh god.
And we'll just like in the various different like mechalite like brothels or just like casinos or whatever he sees, he'll just think of like the worst of them and then just give Maxwell that.
I'm going to unveil the entire room here. And you give him kind of the general setup that you'd given everybody else, except you do as well give him like a card table and a very, very nasty, suspicious-looking rug, as well as a mirror.
Yeah. The rug he would have washed to the point it doesn't smell, but that's about it. But that he keeps there, and he'll put together Max's gift.
Perfect.
And I'll leave that for Max and the audience to unveil later.
Beautiful. So you set up the 3 bedrooms here, kind of fix the walls, and it is kind of getting later in the day now. It's been quite some time. I would say probably in and around the area of when did they leave here? So they left kind of in the afternoon. Let's say, yeah, right in and around here. It's probably around like 6 p.m. now, and nobody's returned.
Okay, and then Thames would begin working on expanding his forge before going to sleep.
Perfect. You head into the forge and explain to me explain to me in the audience what you're looking to expand with your forge here.
Tim's needs more space as he is quite a large fellow. He also needs more space to place things. His role is probably going to get bigger in terms of how much he needs to make and the scale of things he needs to make. Therefore, a vase-like room with just a red carpet going down the middle will not cut it so much. He'll need the larger bellows to be able to cool things quicker. He'll need some enchanting and even later some alchemy stuff. He'll need the tanning rack. He'll need his stone cutting bench. He'll need space to put all the tools that he needs to actually be effective at the job he's kind of assumed, and that is the craftsman, because while others may have the ability to fight well or know things particularly well or use magic, none of them seem to know a trade, and so Tim's believes that that is now his responsibility.
And you expand your forge, and you take like an extra long time to kind of just make sure everything is right and up to code, as kind of you were taught. And you really do kind of rack your brain to think if there's anything else you need, but and surely there probably is as you kind of expand further. But you look around in the forge and kind of just like have this nice feeling of comfort and for once just have like enough to the point where you feel like you can make your product properly.
And Thames would put the mortar and pestle that his father gave him and place it on one of the benches.
Perfect. Place it on this bench over here. And then you're going to bring it back to the alchemy table.
Yep. I was like, I don't think the bench is a good place to put it.
No, bro.
Maybe over here. If you would like to show the audience what is on the on it.
Oh yeah, let me zoom in here. So I want to let you know that Michael sent me this, and I originally did not see like I thought it was just like a general version of like a mortar and pestle for like a display. And I was like, oh cool, I'll put one in your room. He's like, please use that one. And I'm like, oh why? And then I place it, and he's just like, very funny.
If anyone does not get it, some may say that a mortar and pestle could be called a grind set. That is all I will say.
What you mean by that?
Oh. And once that's kind of expanded, and the day is, I imagine, quite late now, Tim's will kind of just go to his bed.
Perfect. You head over into bed, kind of move your apron out of the way, and you are like exhausted. You really put in a lot of man hours, and your body is just like very, very sore. You go to lay down face first, and the night slowly passes by, and you close your eyes, and you fall asleep. And as you wake up, Thames, you wake up. Actually, hold on. Can I cancel that? No. Okay, that's fine. As you wake up, Thames, you wake up in the center of a giant platform. Let me drag you in here. And you kind of sit up and look around, and you are surrounded by nothing but just pure, unadulterated darkness.
Does Thames believe that he's dreaming, or does he have or does he believe that he's fully conscious?
Give me like a flat 20 roll.
Okay. 1.
Oh yeah, you definitely are. You were so tired when you went to sleep that you kind of like wake up inside what could be a dream, and you fully believe this is real.
And he'll just shout out into the void that is around him, and just like this, and say, "Where am I? Who put me here?" What vile trickery of Soliet is this shit?
And for a little while, you don't really get a response. But after a couple of minutes, a small voice just kind of just like etches into your mind, and words appear on the ground in front of you that say, "What do you wish to destroy?" And as these words appear on the ground and the voice finishes talking in your head, several platforms all light up at the same time. And as you turn around to the first one, you look to this purple marble ground and see a wall that is ever so slightly off. And two shades stand inside this platform. One that resembles Solyet's and one that resembles Renthal. As you turn to the next one, you see a very, very radiant platform with just a egregious amount of light kind of pouring out of it, and a shade that resembles Nial. And lastly, you turn to see yourself just very, very aggressively working tirelessly, and you kind of just sit down out of breath and just sigh.
I'll just voice Tim's inner monologue here. He'll look to Soliet and Renthal. Just think. While I do not believe that is important to destroy anymore. They are gone from my life. They cannot hold me back any further, but I do not know why I feel such hatred to them. And we'll look towards the radiant platform and the kind of shade of Nial and say, I'm going to be frank to myself, I suppose, to whatever entity is asking me this. I don't have much against Mechalites anymore. I have not interacted with them. I do not know people from Mechalite. I have seen their atrocities, but then again, have I lived anything else? And Thames will kind of look towards himself and just say, Why do I bother? I'm going to die soon. The impact of my people will have been faded to history. My works will likely die with a rebellion of 6. Is there a point to me doing anything with the last bit of my life?
And, sorry, go ahead.
And Thames will kind of just look at the platform. And what were you saying?
And as you come to this conclusion of your thought, 3 hammers appear in front of you. 2 are just normal craftsman hammers, and then the third one is Hythe. And yet again, you hear the voice enter your head and says, "What do you wish to destroy?"
I, under no circumstances, would ever destroy something that my father gave me. My sins are not his. His memory is what shaped me. His memory may have shaped me into whatever the fuck I am. But he is the one thing that was only good to me. And he'll try to hit the platform.
You go to hit the platform itself, and as you do, the lights go and cut out. The words disappear in front of you, and the platform starts shaking around very, very quickly before it slows down and comes to a halt. And as it comes to a halt, yet again, words appear in front of you, as well as two hammers this time. One of them has disappeared. One of them is Hythe, and one of them is just a regular craftsman hammer. And the voice says,
What do you wish to change?
And just give me 1 second here. Where is... Perfect. And as this voice concludes, yet again, 3 platforms appear in front of you. The first of which is a shade resembling a Turliad that you once knew, holding onto a fence and looking up at the moon. She seems exceptionally sad. As you kind of turn off to your side here, you see a shade resembling your younger brother, and you see a younger version of yourself playing on the beach and trying to collect crabs. And as you turn to the other side, you see a little bit of a younger version of yourself inside of a tavern. You seem exceptionally depressed and very, very drunk. To the point where you can't even stand up. And yet again, the voice says,
What would you wish to change?
He'll walk over to the Trilliad in the moon and say, Fia, is that you?
And like you're watching like a play, and the actor does not kind of wish to pretend that you're there, and it is just trying to stay in character. Fia does not turn around to meet your gaze.
Can Tim's like step into the room that has his drunken self there?
You go to walk over to the room, and as you walk into the room, you go shoo, and walk back into the other side of the platform.
He'll just like start like shouting at his drunken self and just say, You wasted so much of your life, all for what, to be bitter? Your father taught you about your inner flame, and you did nothing but try to quench it. And look what you have done. You've caused the death of our fucking people. And what's worse, you are me. And he'll pick up the craftsman hammer and just try to chuck it at drunken Tim's head.
You go to pick up the craftsman hammer, and you throw it. And as you kind of finish up your sentence, this younger version of yourself looks up as almost to recognize that you're there, but then kind of looks past you. And you realize that they hadn't heard a single thing that you had kind of said. And as the hammer comes flying through, it hits him directly just kind of in the head, and it goes out for just 1 second. These lights blink and come back up. And you see your former self just kind of look completely bewildered. He pushes his chair out and looks around the tavern, as well as the booze bottles under him, and kind of just tosses them off of the table. And the bartender goes up to kind of yell at him, and your former self just kind of like turns around, smiles, and says, I wasn't interested in the drink anyways. And walks off and disappears with a smile on his face. And the hammer in his hand. And as you do that, you see Fia just look up at the moon, and another shade, 1 second, another shade appears behind her. And breaks her shackle. And she stands up and exits the area and runs away.
And Thames will kind of just, very uncharacteristically, just be kind of like, almost whimpering and say, "Fia, I'm so sorry for what I did to you."
And as Fia runs away, you get another quick flash of several Turliads. Some young, some old, some with core crystals, some without. And this figure brutally tortures them and kills them with a large smile on his face. And he kind of spins around to look out towards you, but just ever so slightly past you, and laughs to himself.
Winthal, I would do anything to gut you from neck to balls, again, over and over and over again, but I would not let you have control over me.
And this one fades to black, as well as this. And lastly, you look off to the beach, and your younger brother runs up to you and says,
Thames, let's go play, please. It's a special day for me. It's my birthday. I want to spend some time at the beach.
And your younger self kind of turns to him and says,
I'm sorry, I have studying to do. I don't have time for this, Philip. I don't have time. You'll have to get on by yourself. I'm sorry. I know this is a special day and a happy birthday, but I'm sorry. Dad needs me.
And you turn around and walk away, disappear. And Philip goes over to the beach and to the edge's water and grabs onto the sand, the wet sand, into his hand and says, Fine, I'll make it myself then.
What a twisted fate, Philip. What a twisted fate.
And once again, the words disappear. And the platform twists around. And then comes to a set once more. And you reach another instance where you just have a brief moment of silence. And instead of a voice entering your head this time, an older gentleman in the form of a shade who looks ever so slightly like your father walks up to you and says, What is it that you wish to protect, Thames? And you look down to your hands, and Hythe is no longer in your hands, and you have just an ever so slight just amount of panic as your father reaches behind himself and places Hythe in your hands once more. And he also opens up his hand to what is a small ember. A small, ever so slightly smoldering ember, and he places it in your hand and says,
You have to decide your own fate going forward, Thames. What is it that you wish to protect?
and as he says this, you see a couple of different scenes appear. The first of which is your companions looking out into a dark fog. The second, a congregation of several shades that resemble people from Bilms. And lastly, you see none other than Philip walking down an alleyway.
He'll just observe his options and say, Philip, the people of Bilms, I would ask your forgiveness, but I know I will not receive it anyways. I am truly regretful of what I must do to create a better world in my death. Dad, I will protect them, and he'll point with height to his friends.
Perfect. And your father smiles and says,
A respectable option. You finally found it, my boy. You've finally found it. I'm so proud of you.
and he goes to wrap his arms around you. And as he kind of does, you close your eyes, and he fades right through you and disappears. You step up to this platform and reach out your hand with the smoldering ember and just give it an ever so gentle blow. And it expands and blooms into a brilliant fire. And with this fire, you craft several items for your party. And they are all outfitted in very, very effective armor and with your own brand of weaponry. And as you do this, several shades appear out of the fog and attempt to attack the party. Alice is about to get kind of surrounded, but Marth kind of steps in, protects her, and together they fight off these couple of shades here. Look Down is fighting off a shade that is kind of seemingly not there. And as he does, Pivot also kind of steps around the fog to see if anything is there, and the fog just ever so slightly touches him, and he starts to visibly lose a bit of control. And as he does, he fires a chain lightning at Look Down. Look Down, in turn, looks back over to Pivot, and his eyes are glaring red. His nails have grown out into sharp, sharp claws. And he goes to strike Pivot. However, you see a small version of yourself run over and tackle both of them and kind of put both of their heads into the ground. And they slowly but surely come to their senses. Pivot backs away and sits down and starts kind of trembling and weeping, and Look Down just kind of looks around and seems like he doesn't necessarily remember why it is that he attacked Pivot. And lastly, once again, you see appear a Hierophant that grabs Penelope in its trunk, wraps it around her, and tries to crush her. But the armor is just structurally strong enough to the point where it just buckles it ever so slightly, and Maxwell comes over, starts to try to grab the trunk, and is not necessarily strong enough to do so. He looks over to the party and says, "I need some help here, I need some help!" And look down, as well as another version of kind of yourself, run over and lift the trunk off of Penelope. And Max sets down cards in front of himself, looks down at the ground, and concentrates as he closes his eyes. And you see the Hierophant collapse to the ground, and a soul fly into the air. And as this kind of comes to a close... Oops, give me 1 second. As this comes to a close, you see on the reverse side a wall in Bilms that you had just recently built get blown to smithereens. And as this happens, several boulders topple directly on top of the citizens of Bilms and crush them.
Tim's will kind of like smash his fist against the ground as hard as he can, and just, well, not even like through the pain, and just kind of wince.
And as this one also comes to a close. Oops. Oops. Oh, give me the light! You turn around, lastly, to Philip, who is walking alone down a corridor. And as he reaches a certain point, several shades and shady men appear in the alleyway, one of them from around the box, and stops him dead in the center of the alleyway here. Another two men run from behind him and say, "Oh, so you came back, did you? Well, we'll show you what happens to traitors." And they all pull out knives. Philip tries to push past the first man, pushes him into the box, and he collapses over on top of it. And he attempts to run away, but this shade grabs him by the back of the neck, and this guy stands back up, and they all shiv him to death.
Thames will just yell out, "Philip, they needed me more. Philip, they are the only hope for the world. Goodbye, brother."
And the light fades away once more. And for a moment in time, you hear nothing, you feel nothing. Just once again, darkness surrounds you. Until a small voice enters your head and says,
"You have chosen your path. Now build to a better future, Sir Thames."
And this light goes out. And as this light goes out, you wake up. Inside, let me load up the map here. awaken not in your bed, but with your head on top of your anvil, kneeling down by your forge.
Tim's will recognize the symbology of it and slowly arise. And with that, he will immediately get back to trying to build what he can and as quickly as possible. And we'll kind of just go check up on Penelope and check up on Maxwell.
Perfect. Who would you like to check up on first?
He'll check up on Penelope first.
Perfect. You walk into Penelope's room, and she is, of course, going down her slide. And you kind of open up the room, and she sees you open up the door, and she goes,
Ah! Good morning.
Good morning, Penelope. I see that you are enjoying your room. I'm glad to see it.
It's real good.
and she kind of like looks at you and doesn't necessarily pick up on the social cue and sees that you don't have her hammer on you, basically. She goes,
Hammer?
I'm sorry that I forgot, Penelope. I will go get that for you.
You turn and walk out back over to your forge. You pick up your hammer, and as you start kind of just walking away, just give me an observation check.
A 19.
You just ever so slightly turn around your shoulder and see what seems to be just a figure, a very, very gigantic figure that kind of just blows away quickly inside the forge. It seemed like it was watching. But it did not innately seem like it meant you harm. It just seemed like it was watching you.
And Tim just kind of mutters to himself, "Father, I will do what I can with what I have left."
Perfect. And you head out. And are you heading up to Maxwell, or are you bringing the hammer over to Penelope here?
He'll give the hammer to Penelope first.
Okay. Hand off the hammer to Penelope here. And as you do, she kind of smiles and says,
Okay, what do I do?
Penelope, I need you to do something very important. I need you to go take that dry cot over there, and I need you to go put that in Look Down's room.
and she like looks down at the hammer like really quickly and like looks back up at you and hands it off to you once more and says,
Okay.
And pushes past you.
Tim's will take it back.
She picks up the cot and brings it over to Look Down's room.
And while she does that, Tim's gonna go check up on Max.
You head upstairs. And into the room here. And you kind of walk in on Maxwell just kind of like sitting on the edge of Marth's bed. And as you open up the door, he, like, stands up, worried that it's Marth that's coming in. Hey, I wasn't sleeping here.
You know you have your own room downstairs, right, Maxwell?
Oh, I mean, that's pretty, What? I have my own room? You made me my own room?
Yes, I did.
Well, holy shit. I mean, no one's ever... I mean, people have done really nice things for me lately. Don't get me wrong, but, like, that is, like, really cool. Did you did you add some cool stuff in there?
Only the coolest. I left you a gift, in fact.
A gift? Oh, I haven't gotten a gift since, huh. And, like, he kind of, like, reaches into his pocket and grabs out the cards, and he's like, yeah, shit, okay. Like, that's awesome. I can't wait.
Tim feels kind of bad now for what's left.
Thames what, sorry?
He feels kind of bad now for what he left him. And while Max goes check out his room, I will be right back.
Sure.
With the way you had set up, well, turning my cam off, it shouldn't mess things up. I don't think. I think it'll just show my
if
picture.
anything, it'll just show the picture. Yeah, it should be fun.
Okay. Yep. Shouldn't be too long.
No problem. And as Thames runs down, as Maxwell runs down these stairs here, he has like a bit of a pep in his step. Really, really excited. He swings the door open and then does like a big just stride of like a walk. And he opens up his door. Or sorry, he goes over here and sorry, no. He actually would probably go down this way as he does not know necessarily where his room is. And he opens up the first one to see Penelope's room here. And he walks inside and he's like, okay, yeah, that's definitely the kid. Cool. Walks over to this one and opens it up to see Penelope inside this room for look down and says, wait, okay, so that's your room over there, yeah? So whose room is this?
Look down.
Oh, okay. Cool. So, I get a room next to yours then, I guess. I saw that there was another room over here. He closes the door and just walks down the corridor ever so slowly. Opens up the door to see that the handle is not like a really nicely formed handle like is on the rest of the doors. It's just a regular handle. He's like, it's cool. I'm different. I get like a special handle. And he opens up the door to see a cheetah print rug sitting on the floor and like a mirror in the room. And for the most part, it doesn't look too bad. The only thing that's really, really like kind of ticks him off is that there's a cheetah print rug on the floor. And he goes, oh yeah, haha, very funny. Whatever, I suppose I should have a sense of humor anyways. And he sees the box that is sitting on the ground. And he smiles to himself, starts kind of rubbing his hands together. He says, oh, baby, okay, jackpot. Whew, okay, let's see what we got here. And kneels down, lifts up the box, and swings it off to the side to see a bar of soap and a small little barbell. And Maxwell's smile just slowly leaves his face and is replaced with just a general sadness. He doesn't say anything. He just huffs out, moves the box back onto the floor, walks over to his door and locks it, and sits down in the chair. He takes out his playing cards and sets them down on the table and starts playing cards by himself. and after a couple of rounds, says,
Well, I guess at the end of the day, I only have me. I guess it's kind of what I deserve for the lies and for my past. I suppose there's no forgiveness for what I've done. After all, I'm just who I thought my dad thought I'd be, I guess. Just useless old Max.
and Penelope kind of runs out and sees that Max and Thames are no longer here, and she starts kind of just like looking around to see if she can grab like the hammer. She kind of assumes that Thames is inside of his workshop, and she opens it up to see a wonderland of just tools and equipment and notes, and she steps in and just knows better than to just kind of mess with things. So she kind of like walks on eggshells and goes,
Thames? Hello? Thames?
I do have my camera back on. Yeah,
Okay,
I don't know if
perfect.
it updated on the stream.
Here we are. And yeah, Penelope just kind of is roaming around in your room. Maxwell has kind of closed the door and is moping in his room after what he saw.
If after what Max said, Tim would kind of feel bad, and he would leave like a pouch with like 20 gold in it, and leave a note and saying, and just write on it, no matter how much I pick, you're liable.
You leave it just ever so, just right outside of his door here. And you notice that kind of like around the corner inside Penelope's room, she's not there. And you also see that she placed the cot in Lookdown's room and is not there either.
And he'll just kind of yell out, Penelope, where are you? Do you want the hammer back?
And Penelope hears your voice in the hall and like goes, and she starts looking around your forge to try to find a place to hide. And she is going to attempt to get under the stone cutter.
Oh no.
And crawl under it to hide under the desk. Or sorry, hide under the actual table itself. And let me just, she's doing it rather fast. Let me just roll a stealth check for her. Okay. And, yeah, you get no response from Penelope.
Thames will like check all the doors, and he'll kind of knock on the door of Max and say, "Is Penelope with you?"
Nah. Nope. Just me. Just me.
When you get the chance, open the door, and Thames will continue on checking down into the forge.
You open up the forge and give me an observation as you step inside.
An 11.
You do spot Penelope. She tries to hide under the stone cutter, but like sees how kind of dangerous it looks above her, and she kind of haphazardly gets under it, and you see like her feet like sticking out from under the table.
Penelope, you can come out now. What are you doing under the stonecutter? That is incredibly dangerous.
She comes out, like crawls out from under the table. Says,
I'm sorry. I didn't know. I didn't know where you were.
I was in Marth's room.
Oh. Okay. You're not mad?
No, I'm confused.
I thought you'd be mad.
No, if anything, I'm worried that you are going to get hurt. The stonecutter, and he'll like go over to the stonecutter and show like how it can like cut through a piece of stone like butter. And I'll say, that is what could have happened. But to you,
Oh. Sorry.
here is the hammer back.
and you hand the hammer off to her, or you try to, and she kind of like shakes her head. She says,
No. I'm not ready for that.
Penelope, do you agree that you won't do it again?
Mm-hmm.
And do you agree that what you did was wrong?
and she like nods her head, and you see just like a tiny little smile.
He'll give a little smirk, noticing the smile, and say, then I say you have earned it back.
And she reaches out her hands and grabs onto the hammer with both of them and says,
Thank you.
Now we have a full day's work ahead of us.
Okay. Where are they?
The others, you mean?
Mm-hmm.
Thames will kind of like realize, oh yeah, they said they'd be back in a few hours. And Thames will look around and be like, where are they?
Well, where are they?
Oh. Thames will kind of leave his forge and go over to Max's room.
and Penelope kind of just follows behind you here. And you head over to Max's room, and he still hasn't like opened up his door.
He'll knock on the door and he'll kind of yell through it and say, Max, I get me and you have kind of a cruel relationship going on right now, but they have not returned. This is serious.
Yeah. Yep. What do you want me to do about it?
You're one of three here, and he will kind of just yell, hoping that Max gets his attention. Say, and two of us are not the hammer bearers.
She goes up to the door and says,
Yeah, you're not a hammer bearer.
We need to do something about this.
And Max like opens up the door and like peeks through, and you can see that his eyes are kind of just like red, and just ever so puffed up. And he looks over to Penelope and says, "Do you mind just giving me just a little bit? I need to talk to Thames in private." And she looks up to you, Thames.
Penelope, say you have a few goes on the slide.
Okay.
And she goes to like turn away and then smiles and hands.
Hammer.
she goes to hand it to Max, and you say that, and she goes, hands it to you, and then goes into her room.
And he will just be looking at Max expectantly.
Yeah, come in. He steps back and goes to sit down in his chair.
Thames will pick up the bag he left at the door and just set it down on the desk whenever he comes in.
Perfect. Set it over on the table here. And Max looks over to you and says,
Yeah, I am worried. I know. But you can't let her know. She's just a kid, okay?
I am aware of that, but she is a kid that is traveling with one of the worst groups to be in for any chance of survival. Like it or not, she is not a normal kid.
Yeah, well, I think that she's better here than she is.
he kind of like leans in.
Than she is in Bilms, okay? It's the best we got.
I'm aware. But we must do something about this if they are gone for any longer. You are aware that especially if Marth dies, that we cannot leave, and we are sitting here like sitting ducks waiting to be slaughtered by whatever awaits.
Oh, I'm well aware, okay? Why do you think I'm always with him? I was worried. I wanted to go with him. What the fuck am I supposed to do? I'm just Maxwell, okay? I'm a big bumble who can only play fucking cards.
Max, if you truly believed that, then you would not feel so beaten up over the fact that you lied to Marth. You're that lied to Marth, maybe the only thing that's keeping him sane right now.
Yeah, well, little good does it do if he's... Oh, fuck, Marth, I'm sorry. I should have went with you. Fuck. Oh, man.
Don't be fucking sorry, we need to go do something.
Yeah, what's the plan? What do you think?
I say, whatever has happened to them, if they're captured or what's not, that if that should have already happened, then what is done is done. However, if they truly are held back by something, then and they can make it through, and they will make it back by sunset. And in efforts to keep Penelope safe, as I think that is truly something that we need to do. If they are not here by sunset, we set out in the morning.
No! I will not. You can take her, and you can go, but I will not abandon them. Not like everyone else has done to me. He's been the only one who has been good to me. I will not. You may do whatever you want. You may be the lone wolf. You all might be a lone wolf for all I care, but that man was the only one to take me in after I betrayed him. Capiche? So I will not be leaving him. Child or not.
James will kind of reach across the table and slap Max.
And this is kind of the first time that Max has kind of defiantly looked you back in the eye. Your slap definitely stung his face because he's a very soft boy. But he immediately meets your gaze once more.
Thames will say, get the grip. We'll leave it an hour.
Yeah. Leave in an hour. And then go where? Somewhere else? The world is fucked. Where are we supposed to go?
If anywhere but here, we have a better chance of finding them than Zero.
You know what? I can't believe you. You make me sick. You make me sick. And he's gonna stand up and start to walk over to the door.
And Thames will say, I thought you wanted to go find them.
I do.
That's what I am proposing.
Okay, I'm sorry. Shit. I'm just really wound up. Sorry I misunderstood you. Okay. So sunset. Or an hour? You said an hour from now we'll leave, yeah?
Yeah. I need to make you something, and I don't want to hear a single fucking complaint about that raincoat. You will die with a fucking blood-stained raincoat if you do not let me armor you.
Oh, yeah, I don't mind putting something over it, but the raincoat stays.
Whatever.
And he kind of just like sits back in his chair and starts thinking and says, you know, I did visit this area kind of once before it got turned into a resort, so I do know the area a little bit, okay? Maybe not perfectly, but I do know how to navigate my way around here. There's a couple different entrances to Hellspring itself. There is the main entrance, which is arguably much shorter, and God forbid they probably went that way. It's probably going to draw a lot of attention should they have. But I like to believe that they were probably smart and went the back way into Hellspring. Not a lot of people really know about it. It kind of winds through a forest. But, ends up in the same place. I think that's our best course of action.
Very well. I'll get you a piece of paper, and I'll get you a quill, and you will start writing down our path while I make you things.
Yeah, okay. Noted.
And Max,
Yeah.
we are in this together. If for 1 minute you think that you are not in it with us, or that for some reason you do not want to go along with the group, and you believe your decisions matter the most, it will be more than a fucking slap. And Thames will reach out to hug him.
And he like goes for a rebuttal, but like he sees you going out for a hug, and he like shrieks and like kind of curls into himself. But you ever so slightly just kind of hug him, and he is in utter shock, and reaches his hand over to your shell and taps it with his hand. Says, "Okay, yeah. I'm sorry. I really didn't like saying those things. It kind of hurt. I just, sometimes when you're low. Okay, listen, not the time. All right. Yeah, I'll plot it out."
And Thames will go get him a piece of paper and a quill.
Perfect. You grab a piece of paper and a quill and bring it back over to him, and he nods his head and just starts plotting out the kind of directions.
And Thames will, go over to Penelope's room and say, that unfortunately I will have to say that you'll have to play in the room a little longer. It won't be too long, but just trust me on this one. After all, I wouldn't lie to a hammer bearer.
And she kind of like thinks for a second to herself, and she goes,
Okay.
And Thames will leave and go over to his forge.
Perfect. You head off to your forge, and what would you like to do?
I'd like to make Max iron armor.
Okay.
And an axe is fairly good for people that aren't very well trained with weapons.
Sure.
It's not a hard weapon to maneuver, so we'll make him like a relatively beefy axe, because Max, despite being Max, is still relatively bulky.
Right. Yeah. He definitely, above all else, could handle like just kind of regular strength weapons. Definitely no like dex weapons for him. It's pretty sloppy.
And Tim's will make some like small aluminum armor for Penelope. And we'll include the coat that he made for her as part of it.
Okay. And do you just want to give me... hold on, I could probably open up the stats, but... You wouldn't happen to have them available, like, right on hand, would you?
The stats for the iron armor?
Yep.
Whatnot? Sure. Let me go ahead and grab that.
And what would you like to make the axe out of? Sorry.
I'll make the axe out of steel.
Okay.
But the armor is made out of iron. Because steel armor costs way too much. He doesn't have that right now.
Very understandable. I have a feeling that somewhere out there, there's some steel lying on the ground.
True. I wonder what happened to it.
Oh, God.
So that's the iron chest plate, the aluminum chest plate for Penelope. Hold on, I messed up the formatting for. He be waiting.
Let's see. Chest plates. Okay.
And I'll make the great axe.
Okay. Yeah, and if you wouldn't mind just sending me the stats for that, that'd be perfect. Thames is gonna have a grand old time when he sees that just lying on the ground. That is kind of right in their path, I suppose. Maybe he'll think it's something else.
And while he's smithing, he'll just be thinking, it's like, man, why did this have to happen now? I was looking forward to showing everyone what I did to the place, but what's the show if they're dead? And we'll just keep making the stuff, and then once he has it, he'll bring it to Max first.
Perfect. Got everything jotted down. You head out of the forge and back over to Max's room, and you open up the door, and you see that he has taken the soap off the ground here. Oops. Taking the soap. Oh, I can't click on this. No, I can. He's taking the soap off the ground, and he is kind of just like rubbing it on himself. And he sees you open the door, and he goes, "Oh, you can knock, my lord."
You said you would be working on that until I returned.
Oh, I did. I'm pretty, quick with it. Look, and he brings over like the sheet of paper to you, and he waves it in your face, and it is like the shittiest like put together map that you've ever seen in your life.
It's better than nothing. Here. And, Thames will show him the axe and armor he made.
Holy shit. This is some cool stuff. Yeah, okay. Oh boy. And, he, like, grabs, like, the axe and he's like freaking out that he's holding an actual weapon in his hand. He's like, "Don't worry about it. I'll get this."
Good. And he'll close the door and go over to Penelope's room.
Perfect. And as you close the door, he hears your footsteps walk away, and just make sure that they're far enough away. And then he goes, "Okay." And he grabs the chest plate and sucks in his gun and straps it to himself. And you walk over to Penelope's room.
And he would walk in and show Penelope the armor, which he has designed to not necessarily show that it's like battle armor, in case Penelope complains about it.
Yeah, you kind of show the armor to her, and she just gets a little. She gets taken back just a little bit, and she's like,
Am I in trouble?
No, I made this for you. It is to protect you. After all, a hammer bearer needs their armor, no?
Okay. Yeah.
And she grabs onto it, and just kind of like looks all around the armor, and just sees like kind of like the intricate design that you very, very quickly pumped out, and she fits herself with it. Tries to, at least. It's very, very like half on her chest.
Thames would like try to show her how to put it on.
And she looks and watches you and goes,
Okay.
and then fastens it to herself properly.
Okay. And Thames will hand the hammer and say, Penelope, I am very, very serious when I say this. You must only use this either whenever I say, or whenever there's no other choice.
Oh. Okay.
Let us go.
And you turn around very somberly and start walking through the door, and she follows behind you. And as you kind of walk past the door, Max opens it up and is suited in his armor and says, "Okay, yep. Let's see." He takes out his map and just kind of like looks at it quickly and gets confused, and then puts it back in his pocket. He's like, "You know what? I can just do this. Okay, follow me."
The map was for me and Penelope in case we get separated from you.
Right. Maybe the kid would be better to understand by looking at it. He goes over to Penelope and hands her the crumpled up map. And she looks at it and she goes, "What is that?" And like points at like a small like caricature of you, Thames, and it looks like a pig and not a turtle. He's like, don't just keep that with you, okay? That's it's your buddy there, huh? It's you guys. So follow me, and I'll show you the right way forward, huh? Okay.
Before we properly leave the castle, Tim's just gonna close the gates to the waterfalls and then try to like lock and like barricade the door as much as possible.
Perfect. Oops. Here we are. You shut the grates. Did I put them up? I did. Perfect. And as everybody steps out, let's see. I think Maxwell is actually going first here. Maxwell opens up the door. And as he does, he peers out to see several large thorns that are rooted in the ground that are moving around. And as he opens up the door, this root is going to move up to the door and slash it completely off its hinges, sending it flying off into the distance. And Max takes a step back, looks over to you, and says, "Oh, shit." And that is where we're going to end tonight's episode. Thank you so much for watching. I appreciate it. You can catch us every single Friday here at everybodydiesmartsdungeon.com/twitch/TV. Ooh, man. Oh, that was some perfect lining up for timing. So yes, every single Friday at 8 p.m. This next Friday, we are going to probably go back to the regular party and delve into their side adventure. But don't you worry, we will be back with Thames, Penelope, and Max as they take on whatever the hell this is a couple Fridays from now. As always, thank you so much for watching. If you want to support us, you can do it directly through the Patreon with !Patreon. We are going to be getting the t-shirts, the custom t-shirts for the $20 tier out relatively soon. We just have to do a little bit of cleaning up and do some inventory stock for shirts. And once we do, we will send those shirts out to you all. Once again, all you viewers and Dungeoneers, we will see you in the next episode.